Raiders, Rams, day one joint practice today on Night of the Shield. Welcome back, everybody, to another episode of Night of the Shield. I'm Jason Smith, a.k.a. The Knight, and today we're going to be going over day one of joint practices against the Los Angeles Rams. I'm going to put it out there right away. Buyers, beware. Just playing. I'll explain as the video goes on. But if you're new here, please think about hitting that subscribe button, the notification bell, so you can be updated every time I drop another episode. And go ahead and do me a favor and hit that like button and continue to push us up the algorithm. All right, let's go ahead and get this thing kicked off. But before I do, I want to remind everybody, Night of the Shield is now brought to you by Independently Blind Studios. If you want to go check out my Independently Blind channel, I would definitely appreciate it there. I aim to educate, advocate, motivate, and inspire other people dealing with loss, primarily sight loss. That's what I deal with, to get out and live a more active and productive independent lifestyle. And right here on Night of the Shield, I try to present that in a different way. Show my skill, show my ability to run a YouTube channel while visually impaired, hoping to inspire and motivate somebody else that's dealing with some type of loss or some type of disability, thinking they can't do it, but I'm here to tell you you can. All right, let's go ahead and get into today's video. First things first, Tyree Wilson is back on the field. That's right, Tyree is back. He has joined the team in practices. He's off the NFI list, so here we go. This is what we've been waiting for. And again, you know, I know that this is a theme around content creation these days, regardless if you're a known identity or not. Some are better at it than others. I give credit to everybody who puts in the hard work to create videos based on whatever it is they love. But there's this thing called clickbait. And I know negativity is running rapid in our country, especially on social media. And anytime that we could take something that we love and put a spin on it to grab someone's attention for clicks, that's what happens. I get it. The man had a foot injury, a serious foot injury last year. We drafted him 7th overall. Everybody's been concerned. And there's a difference for being concerned and then a difference for just overreacting and acting like this guy is never going to take the field. He's never going to have a snap. And for me, with the amount of pass rushers we have on the team right now, it didn't really matter. And it still don't to me. I mean, I still say take it easy with the kid, right? Let him develop. Let him fully be ready, because we want the best out of Tyree Wilson. He's only going to make this pass rush, this very good pass rush that it seems to be, much, much better. So I'm all about being 100% and not pushing the issue. I covered that in the last video you guys watched. Thanks for those who watched it. When I talked about Aiden O'Connell, no sense to rush it, man. We got Jimmy G. Let Jimmy G do his thing. If Jimmy G does his thing, cool. If he gets hurt, cool. It's looking like we have a backup plan, at least early on. Still plenty of time to see this kid grow or not grow and make more mistakes. So I think right now, when I say buyer beware or caution, let's take it all in. Let's enjoy as we build optimism heading into week one, because I think it's important, you know, for the fan base to support our team. That's the reason why we're fans. So I'm all for just letting it go day by day, hour by hour. I'm being patient, but I'm also paying attention and listening closely to what's happening. Now, let's talk about what's happening today as they had their first joint practice with the Rams. Our biggest story coming out of it is Cam and Crosby got into it, and there's been words back and forth. Look, Crosby's all fired up. Crosby is on fire right now, and I love it. Like, I'm not promoting violence per se, but what I am saying is this is where the energy stems from. Crosby brings that kind of energy every single day, and it's going to start spreading like wildfire. Then you add a guy like Spillane and Epps and Peters. All of these guys have this fire that burns within, like that endless flame that never goes out. This is it. This is it. So I'm excited, and I think that's why the hype around the defense is so legit. Now, I try to do the best that I can to gather information. I'm not there. I don't have boots on the ground. I got to do it old school like everybody else does and read the reports. Now, when I read the reports and I follow other content creators and I kind of see what their perspective is, I try to get my own view and say, you know what? Perception is in the eye of the beholder, and I'm not there, boots on the ground, like I said. So I'm going to take what they say with a grain of salt. Now, if you ever seen a grain of salt, it's really small, right? But the cool thing about salt is it has healing properties. They used to use it back in the day. Salt was worth its weight in gold, right? So it had healing properties. So a lot of people wanted salt. That's where the whole salt in the wound came from, okay? So here's the thing. If you could give me enough grains of salt to wipe away 20 plus years of mediocrity when it comes to the Raiders, I'm all for the little grain of salts that I get every day, that I get to read and listen to and try to come up with my own opinion and my own view on things, because it's time. We all been waiting. We have to come out here every year and talk about the same thing. The what ifs. What if this guy? What if that guy? Why not this? Why not that? At some point, you just want to be able to say the Raiders are a solid football team. That's what I'm looking for. So today's report was Stafford kind of lit up our corners on the outside. That's the view from the Rams' point of view, right? Stafford went out and did his thing. On our side, defensive line continues to dominate. People keep stepping up. We get great push. We were hard to handle. In fact, there was a lot of reports that I read stating that Crosby probably would have had Stafford sacked 2 to 3 times, maybe even 4 times, but of course he doesn't hit him. And according to some of the reports, that's even in some of those plays where Stafford was making those throws. So again, practice is exactly what it is. It's practice. So everybody wants a winner and loser to everything. But for me, there was enough information that I just chalk it up as one hell of a day at practice for both clubs. Okay. I've read some reports where people are saying Raiders won the day at the end. If it was going to be a score put on it, it'd be like 21-24. And, this is when we start to get, this is what I'm saying, take it with a grain of salt, right? Because perception is in the eye of the beholder. Now, I'm not saying the Raiders didn't go out there and perform good enough to beat the Rams by like 3 points if it was real life contact sport. But what I'm saying is, it's practice. It was a solid practice. You want it to be competitive. That's what practice is all about. Iron sharpens iron. I'm looking for these guys just to go out and compete every single day. Saturday, when they actually have a preseason game where it's more structured, 4 straight quarters of regular, normal football, regardless if our starters in there or not, we'll really see, once again, from a depth perspective, how well we're growing. If our second tier, third tier, fourth year players or 4-tier players actually start to perform and continue that consistency that we've been asking for and watching out for and hearing, and what we saw last week, that's progression, man. That's exactly what we're looking for. Now, it gets deeper than that. Now we got to start really paying attention to certain players, linebackers, defensive tackles, corners primarily too. We want to see who's going to be backing up, who's already projected to be starters. So all of these things add up, right? We want to see if the running game improves. We're still looking at right guard and right tackle. So all that matters too. And they're getting really good looks in these practices. That's what they're developed for. Our starters are out there. They're going head up. They're going 7-on-7s, 11-on-11, but it's in a different controlled environment. I heard McCarthy talk today about not really having a game plan and just kind of using their principles, their basic principles of their offense and their defense to go out there and just, once again, practice. So I'm not necessarily looking for a domination, although it would be nice to report. And there's a lot of people that believe that maybe even tomorrow we get that, right? Because the defense was what was reported to struggle today a little bit, and mildly. I mean, all the reports that I read, it wasn't like the Raiders went out there and stunk it up. I think Sam Webb had another pick. We had young guys really getting after the quarterback, really getting good push against the Rams offensive line. All that's good reporting news. But even with the little bit that they were getting burned on the outside and the struggles that they were having early on, the leaders on the defense got pissed. And they started being vocal. They started saying that this is not us. This is not our new identity. This is not how we're rolling. And that is exciting too, because I'm going to have to agree, man. We haven't had that kind of energy, it feels like, in a long time. Now, we always had players that were that angry. We always had players that were that fired up and loved the game of football, Max being the most recent one, consistent one that we've had over the past few years. But there's been other ones. I mean, Jonathan Abram never developed into being the guy we needed him to be, but that guy brought that same type of energy, right? So this is the kind of players that really can make a difference, again, leading by example. If your best player on defense is that fired up and playing with that type of energy, everybody else tends to follow. Now, Max is not doing it by himself. I said it last video. You're going to hear me say it as we move forward. Hey, man, Spillane, Epps, and Peters. If I was wearing a hat, I'd take it off to you, all you gentlemen, because you guys are bringing it every single day. You raised the energy level on this defense. You've raised the energy level of this football team. And I can't wait for week 1 to see you guys unleashed. Now, let's jump on the offensive side of the ball, because I get a little too excited talking defense, man. And I don't want to over ramble and get overly optimistic or sell something that I believe I'm not ready to sell yet. But offensively, Jimmy G was Jimmy G. Continues to be impressive, right? He missed one to Devontae, but then went up top and hit Dorsett for what they said is a 70-yard touchdown. Some people report 60. Again, it doesn't say actually how long the pass is, but again, I'm not here to say Jimmy G can throw a 50-yard bomb in the air. Sometimes if the play is designed correctly, you could hit that deep bomb anywhere in between 20 yards, 50 yards, and beyond, right? So whether it was a 20-yard pass, 30, 40, what have you, Dorsett, because of the angles and the way the play was designed, took it to the house, 70 yards, 60 yards, whatever it truly was, to the house. Again, big playability. You want to see that. Devontae Adams out there on the field. Once again, everybody wanted to run with the story. Not everybody. No, trust me, there's a few out there that wanted to run with the story that Devontae was significantly limping. He's more injured than what Josh McDaniels and all the names they like to call Josh. They want to call names and this, that, and the third. Look, Devontae went to him. I want to be out there with my teammates. He wants to build that rapport. I think it's a good move. Nobody knows what's going on with their body better than the player itself, and Devontae's just that dog. He went out there. He put in work. I heard he was just lighting it up. Now, they did talk about, because of how they do the one-on-ones and some of these 7-on-7s and one-on-one drills, it's really hard on the corners. I get it, right? I get it. And you expect that from Devontae. But a lot of talk about Jakobi Meyers right now and the way that he's looking out there, getting open. He is a miniature version of Devontae, and I think we take that for granted sometimes. Is he going to be as explosive as Devontae? I don't know. Never really paid much attention in the guy's game. And I haven't really looked him up in his days in the Patriots. What I do know about Jakobi Meyers, though, is the guy runs crisp routes. He knows exactly where to go to be open on the field. He knows the way that Josh McDaniels draws up some of these plays. The guy's going to be open, and he's got solid hands. So you have to respect his game on the field. This guy's most likely a number one receiver anywhere else. In fact, he was the number one option over there with the Patriots. So he actually came over here to kind of, in some ways, take a step down and play behind Devontae. But if you think about it, that's just going to create more opportunities for this guy. I mean, that's the way it should work, right? Hunter set to return tomorrow. Michael Mayer's set to return tomorrow. That's something positive that we could look forward to. You know, the bottom line is I'm not looking for all the answers right now, okay? I'm not looking to hear that this team is ready to go to the playoffs, win the division, and be a dominant force. But all the talk all offseason about we're rebuilding, this is a rebuild, you know, this is a reset, this is, you know, is and everybody came out and said, no, this is not. We're not rebuilding. Well, you get rid of the quarterback, you're rebuilding. They had a plan. They've always said they had a plan. And it's looking that they did. And actually, we're sitting pretty good, and we'll get into that as we get more information because there's a lot of young players stepping up. There's some key people that they brought in that are playing significant roles right now. and a couple of bridge guys, right? And these guys know that they're bridge guys. They know they're not the future, but they're here to set a precedent, a culture, and set the system straight. Let's see if it happens. That's what all this is about, man. It's about practice, iron sharpening iron. That's what we're getting. So today, I'm not going to be one of those that come out here and say Raiders won the day. I'm not going to sit here and say Raiders dominated. All I'm going to say is the Raiders continue to be consistent in the things that they're doing well. And as holes pop up, they're quick to step up and fill them. And that's all we want to hear right now. All that to say, today was a good day. Today was a good day. And that's all you could ask for. Today was a good day. We'll see if they dominate tomorrow. We see if they step it up. We'll see if they make some changes. They come out swinging at the Rams. I'm excited to hear what's happening tomorrow. I'll come back on tomorrow and I'll record something for the next day, kind of give you my thoughts. Hopefully it's all positive because it's all about positivity around here. Anyway, thank you for hanging out with me. Before you go, hit that subscribe button, that notification bell so you can be updated every time I drop another episode. Hit that like button. Let's continue to move up the algorithm. And remember, if you guys are interested in what I got going on, how I'm trying to help the blind community find themselves and their independence and become active and support them in any way that I can, head on over to Independently Blind. Just check it out. I got a scholarship. I got a project I'm working on. It's something I'm going to be, an adventure I'll be going on in November. We'll talk about that at a later date, but check it out, man. I believe it's worth a watch. Maybe you'll get inspired yourself at some point. But anyway, until next time, stay Raider strong. Night out.